Hello guys and welcome back to the Budget Pro. In today's episode we're going to be working on this mower deck from a John Deere, which has the bearings on the spindles messed up. So we are going to try to rebuild it and replace the bearings because they were completely shot, as you guys can see. This deck was really noisy, and we had to figure out which bearings to get to try to replace them on all three spindles. So that's what we're gonna be doing right now. As you guys can see, I already painted this deck and I already removed some of the spindles and pulleys, but I left this one so we can remove it right now so you guys can see how to remove them. So yeah, let's get started on working on this one. The tools that we're gonna use is pretty much a hammer, a chisel. I have this round chisel that it always works good trying to remove these bearings. An impact, highly recommended because those nuts are big and sometimes they're really seized. And the sockets I'll be using is this one, which is the 24 millimeters for the top. It's gonna be the 22 millimeters for the knot on the blade at the bottom. And I got this other one, which is the 50 millimeters for the pulleys. Okay. For this job, we're gonna be using a hammer, a chisel, a couple of sockets, an impact hammer, highly recommended, some grease, and the part number for the bearings, which are the 6203 2RS. To get the part number from the bearings, you can actually look it into the seal of the bearing, the plastic seal, and it has the part number in there. So you can start looking them in either eBay or Amazon or wherever you think it might be better for you. But those are the bearing size for this mower deck. So what we're gonna start doing is to start removing the pulleys. Knot, pulley, and here's where we're gonna be using the hammer. You're gonna put the nut back in here so you won't mess up the thread. Like halfway, like that. You're gonna hit it. There you go. Now the blade at the bottom, the back. Pick up the knot again, and you got your spindle. How easy you remove these spindles. Now we're gonna remove the bearing. You squish it to the bottom, you hit it, and that's our bearing. That's how you pop it out. Now we're gonna do the one at the bottom. Yeah, some of these are easy, some of them are hard, and sometimes you have to be careful because if you hit the mandrel, the aluminum part in this, you might break it, and if you break it, you definitely will need a brand new one. And I would suggest at that point to use the whole mandrel with the spindle and bearings. That's gonna be a lot better because they usually break from this part where it holds to the metal bolts. So now that we have that removed, we're gonna try to put the bearings in here. So just gonna grab our bearing and let's see if I do it with the socket or the hammer, like that. Just tap it slowly. Be careful, don't tap it too much because if you damage it, then whenever you put it in there, it's not gonna get in all the way and you will damage the bearing. There you go. It's completely flat with the mandrel on top, so that way we know it's good. So now we're gonna get our grease and we're gonna put some in here. Alright, because the spindle is gonna go towards this little tube. So you put it there in the middle, and we're gonna put all the bearing to the bottom. Same procedure, so same thing that we did here on top. We're just gonna do it on the bottom. And this one didn't need that much tapping, so we know we're good. Okay, now that we put the bearing on the top and the bottom, we grease the little tube. Now we could grease this little part. Use a little bit of grease in here. I think it's just gonna make it a lot more softer. And we can put some grease on the spindle as well. Just so it won't be like metal to metal. And we put it back in here. Now we're bringing our spindle from the bottom to the top. Now we put our other little part. And we can put the knot so we can try to tighten it up. We know it's there where we want it. Now we can put the pulley. And the knot finally. And that's how we get our new bearings in the spindle. Nice and soft now. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing on all the other two spindles and mandrels and bearings. And we get back to you guys whenever I'm done with all that. And as you guys can see, we put the whole deck back together. We got these new parts. These are the bell wards. We put the bearings on the spindles. We put all the pulleys and all that. If for any reason your deck, when you turn it on the tractor, still it's kind of noisy. It might not be completely the bearings at the bottom, but the bearings on the pulleys as well. So if you move them like that, they're kind of noisy. I mean, that's for sure that is going to be the sound that your deck is making. Then in that case, you need to replace the pulleys because the bearings are already messed up. So this one is completed from the top. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to change the blades. Like I said, I will really recommend an impact hammer because these bolts sometimes are really seize. I know this one's easy, so we're gonna try that one first. And you guys can do one by one. That way you guys know how the belt goes. And see, it's the same way. If you put it like that, it's not gonna work the same, and it's probably gonna be hitting on the mandrel at the bottom. So put it this way: the sharp edge of the blade has to be at the bottom. Put it over here. It's washer. It's not. Then we tighten it up. really tight, because the movement and the vibration on the spindle deck and everything, it could loosen up the knot, and you don't want one of these blades flying whenever you're using deck. So go with this one. I know we have a problem with this one. That one doesn't want to come off. Same as that one. I know my battery is like halfway, so let me go get a freshly recharged battery and try it out with that one. Okay. There you go. A little bit loose, but it's not gonna come off yet. We can let it sit for a little bit. That way the knot and the spindle will pull down. Because if we keep going with the impact hammer, it's gonna heat up and it's probably gonna end up busting something. I know that for a fact. Cool it down. Some other blades. There it is. That's the whole process of changing the bearings on the leg, putting it back together. I took it apart just because we needed to paint it. It was really rusted, and I wanted to make sure it was like all one color. So we didn't rebuild it completely because the bearings were the ones that were completely messed up. If you want to do like the whole thing, you pretty much need to get the pulleys, the bearings on the spindles and all that. But I know there's not that many videos of people changing the bearings on the decks, because sometimes they go with the whole mandrel, but the whole mandrel is like around $36 each one, each mandrel, spindle and bearing. That way you only took off the 4 bolts and put everything back together. But since we want to go on the cheap way of rebuilding this deck, we only replace the bearings, and I think that's going to be enough for this deck to work for a longer time. So there you guys have it. How to change the bearings on the spindles on a 48-inch John Deere deck. So thanks for watching, and see you guys until the next video. Bye.